A lot has changed since my last video, recapping Destiny's intense rivalry with the hardline conservatives who've just taken home the win for the US 2024 election. The fallout has been brutal, nuclear even, and perhaps much more consequently for content creators, the implications for the future of streamer politics seem pretty bleak. But there's a hidden conflict in all of the recent dramas we're going to cover today that I'd like to laser focus in on, and that is Destiny versus Hasan. Destiny and Hasanabi are two of the most popular political streamers of all time, and today we're going to look at why they're currently at war for the future of online politics, and perhaps more importantly, who we're favoring to win. So buckle up, and get ready for what might be my most controversial video yet. Unless you're a time traveler or something, you've almost certainly been taken by surprise by the results of the US 2024 election. But to understand everything that comes next, we should go back to that night on November 5th, and see what both Hasan and Destiny's analysis looked like. Destiny's stream took place on his Anything Else podcast with friend, co-host and entrepreneur Dan Saltman. Other guests on the stream included lawyer Pisco and academic YouTuber Lonerbox. It was a mostly fact-based analysis night, mixed with riffing and good conversation. Throughout the night, they tended to defer to trusted journalistic sources, looking at maps and voting results of the states themselves, and also looking at the New York Times for information on the direction of the race. But as you can imagine, Hasan's analysis looked a little bit different. Co-hosting with podcaster and substacker Ettinger Mentum and restreaming CNN, there was a marked difference in both tone and what they decided to trust. Not only did Hasan refuse to endorse a candidate, presumably kowtowing to the portion of his audience that hated Vice President Harris, instead planning to vote third party, but his commentary throughout the night was far more charged, especially in his criticisms of the Democratic Party. While Destiny, lawyer Pisco, Dan, and Lonerbox worked through the numbers and referenced reliable sources, Hasan focused on perceived failures of the mainstream media and lambasted Democratic leaders for what he viewed as a campaign that had veered too far to the right, betraying progressive values. When the election results hit, a somber tone struck both streams, but Destiny, true to form, hopped to Twitter immediately to criticize conservatives and their false claims of election fraud, while Hasan targeted his own defeated party, blaming moderates for the loss. This, in a nutshell, is a perfect example of the differences between Hasan and Destiny, and what drives their disagreements so far. Destiny is a moderate liberal who rebukes both far-left and far-right beliefs, while Hasan maintains further left socialist positions and controversial associations with people even further outside the realm of reasonable. It's two different approaches, pragmatism versus idealism. So how did things get so out of step for Hasan? Well, we need to go back just a little bit further to the Democratic National Convention earlier this year in August. Earlier this year, the state of the election was a little less hopeless than the night of November 5th. Joe Biden had just dropped out after a historically embarrassing debate performance, and Vice President Harris had just taken over, crafting a new campaign with Governor Tim Walz and beating fundraiser records in record time. But despite these positive movements, Twitch streamer Hasan Piker was less than impressed. In fact, almost all his coverage of both President Biden, who he also refused to endorse, and Vice President Harris have been on the whole negative, making it even more surprising when he was invited to show up at the DNC and livestream his political coverage at one of their computer areas. Hasan showing up, despite his controversial nature, wasn't a huge surprise either. In fact, other content creators, journalists, and TikTokers like Taylor Lorenz and Cenk Uygur had already been invited. But Hasan's stay at the DNC wasn't gonna get off to a nice start, beginning with one hilarious interaction with a Destiny fan.
Try this shit out, Chicago style. Ask the lady at the counter, what's the best thing?
We allowed in here, y'all?
Destiny made you.
Good?
What a fucking loser.
After this election at the last stretch of the DNC, things started to get heated. According to anonymous sources, there was already some controversy among leadership at the DNC about his arrival, but the heat really got turned up when Hasan started criticizing the party on the Gaza issue while sitting on their balcony streaming the event. And after a series of controversial tweets and comments, Hasan was unceremoniously booted out of the space at the DNC, pushing him all the way back to his hotel room.
He looks terrified. It's fine. It's just like we're getting booted. We're getting booted from this space. We're fine. We're fine for now. In this, we're not fine for now. We're literally like we're permanently done here, bro. That's so whack. Fight back. What do you mean? I will get evicted forcibly at gunpoint. No worries.
Leading Destiny himself on his podcast with Dan Saltman to address the controversy and offer his thoughts and criticisms on Hasan and their recent behavior.
That Hasan got kicked out of the DNC.
Breaking news!
I think they were losing a child on October 7th or something like that. He decides to bring up like Palestinian things and say it's gross that they're like only having one voice here. Like while these parents are talking about like, I think losing a child on October 7th, like, holy shit, bro, you're or were they the parents of hostages? What were they?
I'm waiting to see the moment where he's getting kicked out here. Why were you not there?
Because I didn't want to risk like
link me the
getting murdered.
Going some with that is a minor thing I'll talk about in the future. But there's also like I don't want to show up and I'm like there for 4 days or some shit and there's like not much I'm able to stream or it's like laggy or dropping the whole time and like some crazy major political event happens and I can't cover it because now I'm like stuck here and I can't like be on. Yeah.
So that
Okay.
like we don't have an allotted space.
Okay.
So like we have to move. Like today they told me I was gonna have this space, this balcony, the entire day, right? From 2:30 till till the end of the DNC, and then things changed, and randomly they were like, "You got to be out of here." We were supposed to be out of here, so I'm gonna have to pack all this up, swap over to my roaming camera. We're gonna have to stash the bag somewhere, like the remote desktop setup that goes into that bag. And then we're gonna try to see if we can be relocated to a different place. And if we can't, I'm probably gonna have to cancel my interviews that I have with Ilhan Omar and Sean Fain, and potentially go back to my hotel and stream from my hotel because I want to live react and offer commentary to the events that are going on tonight. It's like the last night. I don't care to be here. You know what I mean? It's cool.
He doesn't care to be here.
Right,
he just wants the clout.
I don't want any more Hasan content.
I don't think they were saying.
But
we're getting kicked out.
We're getting kicked out.
Not like fully kicked out, but
not like yeah. Oh. They are getting kicked out. He lost his booth.
You know what? All it takes to make you happy.
Stuff, it was too much.
All it takes to make you happy is for him to suffer. That's it. You're a simple man.
There might not be a principal at all because it's not like all the other people that are in there are getting cleared out.
Oh!
There are people in the creative program and people that like own the suite or whatever. I don't know.
He is getting booted.
Now, it's no secret that Hasan and Destiny have been at odds with each other for quite some time. So if you're looking for an in-depth breakdown of their storied history with each other, feel free to check out either of my previous videos covering him. And I'll also leave a link in the description with my others, in case you're curious about catching up with any of his other controversies too. But getting back on track, Hasan and his community's hate for Destiny hasn't evaporated in the years since. In fact, it's gotten even more toxic, with most of his community wrongly framing Destiny as a conservative. Here's some clips of their most notable rows in recent memory.
And it's ironic that like most people don't even touch it. Like most people don't even bother to turn Destiny into a lolcow when he is a fucking target-rich environment for such an activity. 2-time divorce champion, constantly having a hard time like keeping up relationships with people because he's so fucking gross, rapacious little nerd, you know? But the real reason why most people don't even bother to fucking lolcow him in this way is because they don't even want to deal with the repercussions, drawing the ire of his community. That's it. Why are you projecting so much? Yes, brother, I'm projecting. There's not much else you can do in this process. Like a lot of these dudes, and many of them are in here right now, are
straight up, like, they're straight up delusional. Like, they will genuinely repeat the most delusional shit. Like, they'll be like, oh, you're obsessed. Also, I loved it back in 2019. Destiny fan, by the way, 100%.
Sorry. The reason why he said that was such a funny comment. The reason why he said in 2019 that it was a Destiny fan 100% is because every fucking fan he had was my fan. That's right. They were all my fans. That's where they all came from when you started streaming, motherfucker. Thank you, finally. Thank you for the credit. I just wanted that credit for so long. Thank you, Hasan, for admitting that. Yes.
Now that I think about it, I wonder if there's a way I can use this as precedent to go after a media personality that has impacted my real life experiences and has actively tried to, defame me deliberately, engaging in slander routinely, but also beyond the slander, has actively harassed me and my family members and people that are around me.
My one promise that I will make is if Hasan tries to sue me for defamation, I will absolutely countersue. Whatever case he thinks he has, I have an infinitely stronger case against him. The idea that he thinks that he could sue me for defamation because of my opinions about him, when we watch so many of his videos and so many of his clips, like, what are you talking about? Whereas Hasan, like, knowingly and, like, willfully, recklessly lies about me. Like, he knows he does. He like, is, like, the misrepresentation is not even close. And I think we're way too close for him to just say, oh, I didn't know. Or like, yeah, that would be fucking hilarious. But yeah, I mean, if you ever wanted to, oof, you want to try to pull this like retarded shit you do on your little, on your dwindling stream fan base, you want to do that in court? I mean, we can try that if you want. I'd love to. Sure.
Destiny and Hasan's situationship has often been the tug of war that's defined the current era of streamer politics. But this time around, things were about to get a lot more heated, and it started with an incendiary discovery by Destiny's friend and colleague Dan Saltman. On October 20th, 2024, both Destiny and Dan, co-hosts of the Anything Else podcast, both made posts revealing the recent news that Twitch had been found to be banning users from Israel and Palestine from signing up to Twitch, with people from Israel reporting that they were receiving a banned country error when they tried to sign up, with code and emails from Twitch support confirming it, leading to a heated response from Dan, who compiled all of the information on his Twitter account. Twitch later responded, claiming it was an accident and that they forgot to re-enable signups after October 7th, where they supposedly banned signups from both Israel and Palestine, seeking to make sure that inappropriate content from that region during its conflict wasn't streamed live onto the service. Dan largely disputed Twitch's claims, stating that A, Twitch was made aware of the issue way beforehand with emails directly made to Twitch support, and B, it was an IP ban, not an email sign-up ban like they tried to claim. But the controversy began to deepen, as the press and Jewish advocacy groups started directing their attention to Hasan, one of Twitch's most popular streamers. Recent comments on not only the Gaza conflict, but other political issues too, making things very heated for Hasan, with him being painted as a polarizing figure amidst an already tense situation. This was fuel for both critics and supporters, with Hasan's community rallying behind him, while others, including DGG, condemned his past remarks, turning him into a symbol of Twitch's broader controversy.
Hello and good morning, and I'm going to try and get right into the point today. So, I'm not going to say too much more. If you've been following my Twitter feed, you know that right now there is a major issue going on with Twitch when it comes to anti-Semitism and anti-veteran sentiment, and just really anti-USA content in general. And they're protected, the people that are doing this. There's no other way to say it besides that. These people have been reported for things that they've done, and nothing happens. At the end of the day, nothing happens. I feel like for years, myself and others have tried to stop this sentiment from spreading, but it's reported and it goes nowhere. And I have the only thing I can think of at this point, well, the only thing that makes sense is that the CEO, Dan Clancy, and perhaps the entirety of the trust and safety team at Twitch, and please send me email tips if you know who is on this team, is complicit in that they like this content and they want to see more of it. So I'm not going to go into all the instances of the crazy stuff that's happened. If you want to see that, you can go to danclancysucks.com, and there's enough examples on that website that they've put together with showing the million
Twitch
examples.
CEO Dan Clancy even received calls to step down as the CEO of Twitch after more clips revealed a sponsored TwitchCon panel hosted by Hasan community members and streamers tier listing different races from the scale of Arab at the top to loves Sabra at the bottom, an Israeli-American hummus brand. And although these streamers later received ban for their behavior after public outcry, the damage was already done, with lawmakers even writing letters directly to Amazon and Twitch leadership. Throughout this drama, Hasan and his community were making criticisms of both Dan and Destiny for calling the Twitch CEO out. Destiny's community DGG has historically criticized what they've seen as favorability on Twitch to other streamers like Hasan, including Destiny's ban, which provided them more freedom and opportunity to criticize the platform. But that leads us to a different sort of analysis. What types of people permeate both Destiny and Hasan's communities? And who would be better suited to carrying the torch of streamer politics? Destiny's Twitch ban didn't really seem to impede his growth in the niche, but now ingrained Hasan orbiters like Frogan are starting to face serious consequences for the first time. So, with Hasan's community, your choices are already pretty clear. For Destiny, you might want to take a look at someone like Lonerbox, I'm Really Important, or any other related creator in their sphere. And in this way, we can see two very different futures for streamer politics. One driven by chaos, or one driven by the fact-based analysis we took a look at earlier. But just like the 2024 election, who wins out isn't really up to you or me. It's the will of the people. And if these recent Twitch bans are anything to go by, the tide is certainly turning. In conclusion, whereas in the last video we covered Destiny becoming more respected and known in the mainstream, Hasan is becoming more hated. I think this makes it worth asking what it is about Destiny's controversies that end up boosting his reputation and popularity, while Hasan's controversies denigrate him and hurt his standing. To start, Hasan's community is becoming more and more insular, and especially in the case of H3H3, is having issues building bridges to other communities without significant attack on whoever it is that they're trying to build bridges with, whereas Destiny's community is more than happy to have new characters bouncing around the stream. Like I discussed earlier, there's a marked difference in tone and also in approach. Post the results of Dan Saltman's investigation and commentary on anti-Semitism on Twitch, including political involvement, an adpocalypse on Twitch is beginning, with everyone pointing fingers at each other. Hasan's continuing to lose steam as an adequate figure to represent the left in streamer politics, which leaves us with Destiny. In today's video, we've covered the shocking results of the 2024 election, Hasan's significant controversy in mainstream political circles like the DNC, his beef with Destiny, Dan Saltman's row with Twitch CEO Dan Clancy, and ultimately how Hasan and Destiny's two visions for the future of streamer politics are colliding. In my previous video covering Hasan, I described his community as an echo chamber. Today, it seems pretty clear that that echo chamber is collapsing. Destiny and Hasan represent two starkly different futures for streamer politics, one driven by idealism and insularity, and the other by pragmatism and open debate. With controversies mounting and public sentiment shifting, it's clear who's gaining ground, and who's losing it. The question is, which vision will ultimately shape the internet's future? And the answer to that question seems to be, certainly not Hasan. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.